right group.
Okay.
This should be, let me quickly check. Perfect. I think we've got it right now.
Okay.
I've been jumping around Facebook in different groups live, but we're now live. Perfect. So I'm here with Chloe. Chloe does our Pilates, bar, some boxing, HIIT sessions as well at the studios and from home as well. So we're here today. We're just going to talk about, well, I'll let Chloe, you just introduce yourself actually, Chloe. So yeah, introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are.
Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone. So my name's Chloe, as you know, I'm 25. I am from Australia, actually. Moved over here 5 months ago. So I now live in the UK. I am a personal trainer, a Pilates instructor, and a dance teacher, pretty much. Been a dancer / dance teacher for years now, years. So yeah, they're my three main interests. So I've kind of from them stemmed, I've really been interested in sort of a healthy, positive lifestyle. So that's what I kind of like to throw out into the world. Really into positivity, confidence, self-esteem, being true to yourself. And yeah, that's pretty much who I am.
Yeah, cool. And obviously we're going to go into like kind of the fitness side of it, dance background, and how this kind of comes in with relationship with food, weight, body image, body confidence. Because and I think a lot of the ladies who actually come to the sessions as well, as you've known as well, is they can often relate to it, whether they've done ballet before when growing up, and now they're able to do it again, and it kind of like brings back kind of positive memories. But also people often shared stories about, oh yeah, when I was younger, I used to feel like this, self-conscious about this, and maybe that's where this stems from. And when I talk about binge eating a lot, comfort eating a lot, nearly always when we talk about this area, it kind of comes back down to something, whether someone will say, when I was younger, I would be in the kitchen and I'd ask for some food, and it'd be like, no, you can't eat that now, and it's there's pros and cons to how we handle that, and I've been through that before. But yeah, what got you into dance background? What got you into that?
Well, I've been a pretty fit kid my whole life, like surfing and whatever, but I started dancing as a hobby when I was probably about 6, and then I became more so professional, I guess, as I went through my teenage years, etc. Doing ballet, I trained for like a full year of just dance and just complete dance for a full year. And so that's when my dance kind of came into it, because I'd done it previously as a hobby and then decided to kind of put it into my career, see if I could, I guess. And then I really got into my fitness, I guess. I was probably about, dance comes within fitness, I guess you could say, but I didn't really start going to the gym until I was out of school, until I really had time. So probably about 18, I started going to the gym. And then when I finished school, I did my personal training course. So I finished school, I did 1 year of dance training. Then I did 1 year the next year of my personal training course. Because then I thought these are the both, like, I want to go through these avenues in my career. So then I really started to focus on them. And then that's, where I am today, wanting to pursue my personal training, fitness with Fruci Fit, and then dance kind of on the side of it when I can. So I've kind of had a love for dance and fitness from a very young age.
Yeah. And I guess on that's because you enjoy it, right?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I never really looked at fitness as a punishment. I never looked at dancing as I had to burn these calories. So for me, I really enjoyed it. Especially with fitness, never ever did I look into burning calories until I was probably about 18, 19. And then with my dancing, it was going so well up until I was about, I'm going to say 17. And then I sort of did a 360 in my thoughts of food and my relationship with exercise, that I was in such a good, healthy sort of direction. And then, how you have like toxic people around you, social media, And that's what made me flip a 360, and kind of I looked at food and exercise as a punishment.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because obviously, like social media, I know it's very much talked about now. You know, you see it. This does my head in. You know, you see like celebrities who have a really strong following just talk about a supplement they've used to maybe lose some weight or something, and then you know, I've got two daughters who obviously growing up are going to be seeing that stuff, but they are clamping down on it, you'd like to think, but you still see it all the time now. And I just question like how do they actually really believe in those products? And just going back to what you said, was there what was it that kind of triggered the calorie thing, and why was that triggering? Because you know that we can see it on one hand, right? Calories actually inform a lot of people. So a lot of people can go about saying, my belief is that so one of the ladies who used to do Weight Watchers, for example, she always had this thing about cheese, like because cheese was seen as like quite a bad food, so she'd just avoid it and she'd have banana sandwiches instead. But then she realized that when you look at the calories, there was not really any difference, and in fact she was getting more protein, more calcium from the cheese, and actually she was then satisfied, which meant she didn't crave cheese for 1 month a year in December and go crazy on it. It was more balanced. So in some aspects, calories can be informative for a lot of people and actually quite liberating. So what was it why did you get into it? And what made you go, oh yeah, I better check that?
Unfortunately, I got into it through dancing. So I would dance at school, but then I would dance out of school at a studio, and I would go there like every day sort of thing. And it was a very competitive environment. It was sort of, you know, who is the skinniest? Okay, this girl's the skinniest. She should initially have the lead role. And it was one of my best friends actually that at the time that herself developed an eating disorder. And because I guess I was around her so often, I didn't even see it actually approaching me, the eating disorder. It just kind of happened. And then that's where I started counting calories, because I thought I had to be the skinniest person to do ballet. Like I just had to be. And at this time, I was pretty skinny as it was. You know, I'm pretty sure I got my period even really late because I was such a skinny sort of teenager. And here I was at 19, 18, thinking I still wasn't skinny enough. So I was kind of following all the girls around me, thinking I had to lose weight to get this role in dance. So I thought I would be a better dancer if I lost weight. So then I started using MyFitnessPal and literally eliminating everything you can imagine. I pretty much eliminated everything except fruits, vegetables, oats. I mean, I would make up the weirdest concoctions thinking that they were going to, like, I'm not even going to say it. I used to just make some really weird things because I cut out everything. I couldn't even eat with my family, or we couldn't even go out because I just restricted myself so much. So, yeah, that was a really sad point in my life because I didn't know how to create balance, you know, and then again, I would look at social media, scroll on these pages on Instagram and all these silly, like how to eat low calorie foods, and think that that was what I had to do. And I felt like I wasn't even alive in my body because I was so conscious of what I was eating and the exercise I was burning. I remember putting into MyFitnessPal, you know, 3 hours of dancing, 1 hour of walking, to wake up every morning and go for a walk despite the weather. And I used to just eat the most pathetic portions, and I had no sort of choice of food. I would just eat the same thing every day. And yeah, I mean, and that kind of lasted, I guess you could say, for probably about 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
I was in this cycle. I could never get out of it. And then I started to, I guess, you know, binge because I was so restricted. It was just this cycle, and I could not get out of it. It was so hard. And yeah. I mean, it took me at least 4 years to get out of this vicious cycle.
And what helped you do that? What
was that, Matt?
What helped you get out of that cycle?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I do remember I used to, you know, my family would try and help me, my friends, but at the same time, no one knew what to say because I was in such this vicious cycle that I couldn't see, you know, how skinny I was getting. I couldn't see the end direction where I had to go. So I remember my mum once said this comment to me. She was, you know, at this time I must have been extremely thin. And she said to me, she said, you know, Chloe, I'm really worried that one day we're going to wake up and you won't be alive.
Mm.
I remember that so clearly. I remember that as if she just said it to me a minute ago. And that was the thing that really opened my eyes up. And I was like, I need to learn to live. So then New Year came round and I made it a New Year's resolution to stop weighing myself because I also weighed myself. So I made it a New Year's resolution. I completely stopped weighing myself. You know, I would weigh myself 3-4 times a day, you know, completely stopped. Then I started actually weight training. So I started going to a gym.
Mm.
I guess that's where my weight training came into it. I then started following the right people on social media. I started following ladies who were actually into the correct way, into, you know, building muscle, eating properly, how to fuel yourself. And I started following all these ladies. I unfollowed all the skinny people and all the, you know, low calorie snack pages, followed the right people, stopped weighing myself. And I wanted to then, because then that's when I started my personal training course. So I was like, I said to myself, how can I motivate people and inspire people when I don't even look the role? Because I was a stick figure, you know, and I wasn't a stick figure because of genetics. I was stick figure because I wasn't eating right. Yeah, so that's pretty much why I overcame it, because also at the time I was a dance teacher, and I actually, true fact, I actually got let down very gently. Let go of a dance teaching job because she just said to me, Chloe, you're not physically inspiring to the girls. And that also made me kind of, you know, give myself a kick up the bum and be like, you actually need to do this. So it was also sort of the role that I wanted to be a dance teacher, but also a personal trainer. I can't at all have a positive impact if I'm not actually displaying that. You know, like you can't, I guess you got to take your own advice. I can't say to people, you know, you should do a 30 minutes of exercise a day and then I just sit at home and do nothing all day.
Yeah.
You know, I think you got to practice what you preach as well at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. And I can vouch for that. There's been many times where I've been burnt out and working hard, and any advice I give then might as well just be, you know, dust. It's just
Yeah.
dust. And even when I'm saying it, it's like that's when I knew it was like it was years ago now, but I'd be like saying, yeah, you need to get some rest. I'm thinking, I haven't done that.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, some really interesting points because and I want to touch on you mentioned like learning to live because and these are two different.
Mm,
I just want to be clear, like you know that going on a fat loss journey and where you're what we're talking about here are two completely different things.
yeah.
Um, and but you can relate to certain elements, of course.
Mm,
Now you mentioned like learning to live, like not eating with family, and there they come. What comes with that are healthy things. So eating with family is actually a healthy thing. Like people say it's unhealthy to eat burger and chips, but eating with your family is a healthy thing
mm,
psychosocially. And around Christmas and stuff, for example, you have to consider, you know, what actually makes someone happy and what they want to do. So there's all these that learning to live thing. And when we're looking at what we're doing in January, because if you think now, people are starting to look at what diet they're going to do in January, stuff like that, you know, you've got to always consider that the psychosocial aspects of that diet. If we're just going straight in with a restriction, we've got to be in a place, and there's nothing wrong with that. If someone wants to do it, remember, if they're in a fat loss
mm,
position, they've got a
mm,
healthy relationship with food, not, you know, binge, comfort eat. I'm not on about that. If someone's just like, you know, I need to sort myself out and I need to lose weight, and they're in that space, that's fine. But we've then got to look at how realistic it is and also where they're at in their relationship with food. Because if someone has got quite a poor relationship with food in turn and body image, then it might be worth actually, like you said, learning to live, but also focusing on the positives of this. Because, you know, exercise is often seen as, you know, I need to exercise to burn off a mince pie. I need to exercise to burn off the cheese I've eaten, to lose weight. But actually, exercise is quite a poor way to lose weight. I'm going to write a blog tomorrow, for example, about a study they showed where they looked at if people burnt 600 calories in the morning compared to people who burnt 300 calories in the morning, then they looked throughout the day. And what happened was actually the people who burnt 600 just tended to move 300 calories less throughout the day. So they might go, oh, you know what, John, I'm not taking the dog out for later today. I can't be asked. You know what, I'm not taking the stairs today. But that's where, on a tangent now, going on to like step counters, things like that can be helpful for some people. But again, then if some people have quite a poor relationship with the food, etc., don't want to count anything to do with sins, calories, all that stuff, that's fine too. And actually, we just focus on the small wins. It's, for example, one of the ladies, she was asking it's really interesting. She was asking loads of good questions about nutrition, about protein, about all these questions about minerals and etc. But the fact of the matter is, she doesn't have that much time. She's busy, has a lot of people relying on her. And I said, right, if we just cut all this out and then just say, if we have this conversation again in a week's time and you've done 3 exercise sessions and you've drank water before every meal you have, because that's something that was quite important to her because she wants to get a handle on it. And it's one of those ones that if you're not doing right now, it's so simple, but also so simple doesn't mean it's easy to do.
Yeah.
But so beneficial in terms of digestion. Like some people have gone, I have real bad digestion. You increase your water intake, that helps as well. And at the end of the day, she's done them, and then by the end of the week, that's a huge win for her, and she's happy with that. The point is that making it simple and making it doable is going to be the key thing in terms of that January style. So, going backwards a bit though, you mentioned about exercise as punishment, and so what did you then go into bar Pilates from dance because of its link with it in terms of exercise being related to dance? What got you into it, and what do you like about kind of bar Pilates in that area?
Yeah, definitely. So when I spiraled out of control with ballet, I then I'm pretty sure it was that same year I decided to quit ballet. I decided to quit that dance school. I just stopped completely. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. And then I did that year of training with my school that I did, like a separate school. Through that whole year, I was the most self-conscious, restricted person you'd ever meet. I wasn't social at all unless I really had to be. And I realized that the dance industry it can be so toxic. So it just kind of happened. I just kind of let go of the dance and the ballet and everything and decided with my mind on how to actually form a healthy relationship with fitness. Okay. So, and I know a lot of ladies think when they think back to ballet that it's a really positive sort of reflection. They really they think back to it, when they were a young child or young girl and they're like, oh, that was such a good time. But for me at that time, I loved ballet and I still do. I feel amazing when I teach a ballet class at Fruci Fit. I really do love it and I'm very passionate about it. But when I think back to the time and how just mentally unstable I was with my food and exercise, I also have a little bit of sort of not resentment, but a little bit of the reason why I spiraled out of control with my food and eating was because of ballet. So for me, I can connect ballet to and now because now I have such a balanced lifestyle. I love ballet now for what it is because I enjoy it. But back then, it's, you know what I mean? So now I've learned how to love ballet. But when I think back to me as a child, I'm like, oh, that was a really rough time for me. So I guess you could say I stopped ballet for a few years and then I went into Pilates because it was just an opportunity that kind of rose up for me. It just kind of happened, really randomly. And I ended up loving bar and Pilates. Like, I felt like it was a great environment. We weren't there to burn calories, we weren't there to who's going to get the sweatiest, who's going to pump the heaviest weights, who's going to do a PB today. You know what I mean? It was just a genuine group of ladies where I worked in particular that just wanted to benefit themselves, make themselves feel good in a way that wasn't slashing around at the gym, lifting weights. Like I said, that's not for everyone. And anyway, so I I really grew to love Pilates and ballet because it was a form of exercise. It wasn't particularly dancing as such. It was something a little bit different, which was really interesting for me. And it was each class was so different. And it was just, I liked the feeling that Bar and Pilates gave me. It made me feel really strong and confident in my body, which it still does now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be teaching Bar and Pilates. So now, especially even if I'm at home and I don't want to go to the gym, I will do a Pilates workout because that's what makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's interesting. And as I always say that in terms of when people say, because we have so many different exercise sessions, Tai Chi, bar, Pilates, muscle strengthening, bands, kettlebells, boxing. It can be quite overwhelming and someone can go, well, which one do I do? And it's actually, like I said before, making it simple and going, actually, one, what do you enjoy? Let's start there. And then that's two, which ones are actually going to get you the results you want? Because you kind of have to match them, right? If someone's like, I want to get, if someone does say, I want to lose X amount and I want to get stronger in this position with my arms, like there's going to be certain exercises and sessions which are going to suit you better than, because, I just want me time, I want to get more flexible, work my core more, that everything's different. And it's bridging the gap between what's going to get you the results, because you enjoy results. Like some people really enjoy results, and you can only potentially, they are interlinked, because you can only really enjoy something for as long as you get something from it. And if you're not getting anything from it, you can then not enjoy it so much. Around the process. And a lot of the ladies say that with regards to the ballet as well. So I'll give you an example. One of the ladies actually texted me yesterday. Here we go. I'll show you this now. I did it today because I wanted to, not because I have to.
Yes.
It would have been easy to stop this week, but I've done it.
Amazing.
That's the interesting one. So it's interesting. So she uses Ballet Fit, not as a to say, I'm going to burn loads of calories today, I'm going to hit personal best. She uses it to go, flipping out, I'm having a hard week. I feel like overwhelmed. I could give up today, but I'm going to do that because that's a stepping stone to me enjoying exercise, and maybe then doing more intense one now and then, because there's a time and a place when she's ready.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, and it just goes to show how much, everything's a tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, I do think
doing ballet. Not sure.
Yeah, no, I was going to say I do think it's really important to find what works for you, because I know our little ladies have different sort of views on the different exercise classes at Fruci Fit. So, we get our regulars at 6:30 in the morning, or we get our regulars at 5:30 at night, and they keep coming back because they enjoy it. They don't even care what we're going to do in that session. They just know, okay, I like Pilates, for example. I don't know. I'm going to come and I'm going to enjoy it. Doesn't matter who's there. Doesn't matter like what we're doing. They just like it, which is awesome, because they're able to. This is why Fruci Fit is so good, because there's such a variety of classes, and they're able to do what they want to do, but also if they want a challenge, they can do another class, like boxing, for example. You know what I mean? So I think you will not enjoy exercise unless you find what you thrive doing and what you enjoy yourself. Otherwise, it's just going to be a chore, which at the end of the day won't last a long time, because it's not a lifestyle change. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah.
Mm.
Cool. So anything else you want to kind of add to that, or anything you want to go over in terms of, I guess, with food? I'll touch on that again.
Yeah, food.
How did you build that back in? Like, you can't just, because I know from personal experience, you can't just go, oh.
No.
Yeah.
You know what, actually, there was this one time which I think back and I'm like, gosh, it's like this happened yesterday. It was amazing. I started going out for dinner. I started just kind of telling myself I had to live my life, which meant not eat oats with water for breakfast, not an apple for dinner, and whatever for lunch. I had to actually have variety. This is after my mum said that comment as well. And we went to the club, just a random pub or club, whatever we call them in Australia. I actually forget. And I remember saying, just randomly, I looked at the menu. I said, oh, Mum, I like the look of this steak burger. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, we could share that because we got another meal or whatever it was. And I remember saying in my head, okay, that steak burger, I split it up. At that time I ate steak and I was like, okay, I would eat the steak by itself. I would eat the salad by itself. I eat bread. I eat, if cheese was on it, cheese, and I like tomato sauce. And I was like, why am I afraid of this burger when I would initially eat everything by itself? Or I would eat cheese on a cracker or something. And I was like, okay, so that was a point in my life where I was like, singularly, the foods in this steak burger are not bad. We could have more nutritionally sort of dense foods, like maybe a wholemeal sourdough roll, but at the time it was just probably I don't even know what it was. And I was like, this is amazing. Okay. And I actually enjoyed that steak sandwich so much because I realized, I was like, I eat all these foods anyways. Why am I worried about a steak burger? Because I had labeled a burger as bad.
Yeah.
And then I realized with the calories, I was like, okay, so in a bit of bread, there's 90 calories. And then in a banana, there's 90 calories. So at one point, I don't remember what it was, I was like, why am I afraid to eat bread?
Yeah.
Banana, and it's the same calorie.
Yeah.
Or like egg yolk. I used to not eat the egg yolk because I was like, it's high in calorie, it's high in fat. I'll only eat the egg white.
Yeah.
Then when I realized, I was like, hang on, I'm literally like, I'm not at all getting all the nutrients I could get from a boiled egg because I'm not having the egg yolk. Like the egg yolk as a whole is incredible. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
only tasty, but it's great for your body. So I realized, I was like, right, when I've got to fuel myself to move right, I don't want to not eat egg yolks for the rest of my life. I don't want to not eat bread. Like, I don't want to be so strict on myself I can't go out to eat. So when I kind of put it into that perspective, and I was like, it's like what you were saying with the banana sandwiches, but she actually wanted cheese. It's like when you think about it and you cut cheese into the appropriate sort of way and you don't have huge blocks of cheese, it's not incredibly high calories.
No.
Plus, you've got that protein from the cheese and the fat. So that's going to satisfy for you for longer. That's when I started realizing, okay, if I have oats in the morning, I'm going to add a dollop of yogurt. I'm going to add some peanut butter maybe, or banana and berries. That will satisfy me for longer. That will stop my brain wanting. I mean, I guess when you restrict your food, it's like with the lady who restricted the sort of didn't have the cheese. She's always thinking about the cheese. Never going to be satisfied.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, okay, if I start integrating sort of every sort of food group slowly again and start having them in the right sort of meals, this sort of obsessive thoughts that I had with food and I was always hungry mentally will go away. So when I started integrating dairy back in, meat, carbs, pasta, I realized that not only was I gaining freedom, but I was gaining like I was regaining sort of this mind that could make things have more clarity in regards to my health and fitness journey. And then I stopped having the obsessive thoughts about, for example, the cheese. I stopped thinking about the cheese because I was having cheese.
Yeah.
And this is a thing, especially with like, I know you've done a video on it before, Matt, but when it's like, when it comes to Christmas and someone wants a mince pie, they're not going to have a mince pie because it's not good. So but then they end up the next day maybe having 10 mince pies. It's like if you were just to have that one mince pie, or if you were to have that cheese sandwich, or if you were to have that glass of wine, you're actually going to do yourself more benefit, I think, personally. For me, I have like little mini treats here and there everywhere, and I never ever feel like I rarely get a craving for food. I never binge now because I'm so balanced. I feed my body so well with, I guess you could say, the non-nutritional foods as well as the nutritional foods. And I just have this mindset with food that's just like, one mince pie is better than 10. So why not just have the mince pie?
Yeah. And it's that difference between saying,
Does that
I'm
make sense,
choosing not
doesn't
to
it?
have it. Yeah. So I would say there's a difference between saying I can't have that versus I am choosing not to have that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't mean you have to have it. Because
Mm.
then people feel like they have to have it, but actually it's then a choice. Because I always say this as well, like it's okay to eat to make yourself feel better, etc.
Yes.
But if it doesn't make you feel better, then you've got to question what the feeling is that you're trying to create.
Yes.
Because at the moment you're trying to create a feeling which you're not getting from the action, aka eating. So what were you willing to do to create that feeling instead? It might just be that you're tired and that you've taught yourself that when you're tired you eat.
Yes.
It will make you feel better. If you're tired, exhausted, and stressed, pretty much anything you do will make you feel better. So anything you do at that time, your brain is going to associate that action with, oh, we learned last time that when you're stressed and tired, don't go to bed, just eat, because you'll feel initially better. And when we're tired and stressed, the part of our brain which allows us to make decisions based on long term, where we want to be, is kind of quietened down, dampened down, and it allows us that emotive part, gorilla brain, to take over a bit. But
yeah,
cool. Yeah, all good, perfect. Well, thank you for that. Last one. We've talked about food a lot, but would you put pineapple on pizza?
Yes, I do.
You would? Oh, bloody hell.
Don't you?
No,
You're joking.
I wouldn't put pineapple on pizza.
It's a game changer, just saying.
No, right, we'll end it there then. No, awesome. Cool. Thanks for that, Chloe. I wouldn't put pineapple on pizza. No, I would go
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, ladies.
Yeah. Cheese, olives, and sweet corn. That's what I go for.
Oh, God.
Cheese, olives,
okay.
sweet corn, and chicken, pepperoni, but everything but pineapple.
Have you even tried it?
Good question. I
You haven't even tried it.
Hawaiian pizza. I have a Hawaiian pizza, and no, I'm not a fan. No.
Fair enough.
Cool. Perfect. Thanks, Chloe.
Thanks, Matt.
Any questions? Just let me know as always, and I'll see you soon. Perfect. See you later.
See ya.